fallen.
Yeah.
Everything. Like, what happened to the military?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm
These
pretty
things
sure we
can
can
be
handle.
killed by guns.
We can handle bats. I'm pretty sure we can handle bats. You know, like really big bats. I mean,
but like A Quiet Place, like the entire movie was on that. How do we stop these aliens? How do we survive in this kind of world? And then like The Silence, like that was the main thing. But then they brought in like the cult, which had risen in 3 days somehow.
That was
Like, that became the final conflict.
people cutting out their tongues in a day and a half. Like, fuck it.
That's not the only thing that makes noise. That's where it's like, just don't talk, but the other things make noise. So I
guess it was like they wanted control over them and they were kind of using it as an excuse, but it wasn't like expressly or well explained in the movie.
All.
Yeah.
You have to leave one person in the cult with the tongue so that they can explain why we want you to join our cult, because otherwise it's just a bunch of like pointing and jabbing and weird.
Although we're jumping ahead, like for The Silence, we start the movie getting very cliche introductions to our characters. And we get the nuclear family introduction. We get this is Uncle Glenn. We don't know. I'm not sure why we need to know that he worked in construction, but they made it very, very clear that he worked in construction. I kind of thought that was going to come into play, but it does not.
He did have a hard hat on. I remember that.
He did, and a vest, and we're like, okay, construction, cool. That's gonna come in handy later.
Build something.
It does not.
Make something.
The biggest mystery in The Silence is why no one could shut the fuck up. Like they know immediately. Like in Quiet Place, it took a minute to figure out, right, that sound was the thing that drew these monsters in. They already know from the news report in like our first 10 minutes of the movie that these things respond to sound. So everybody just be quiet. And instead, everybody ramps up, packs up all of their belongings and gets in their cars and then drives on the freeway.
Yeah.
Honking. Yeah.
And congestion and all of that. And then somehow our family, without any explanation whatsoever, ends up without, like, in a complete desolated road. They're in the middle of locked traffic. And then one scene later, they are driving on a deserted road, nowhere.
Like a nice hiking trail.
That's because Uncle, what's his name? Uncle what?
Uncle Glenn.
Uncle Glenn took him that way because he knows. So
but no other cars went that way?
No. Just
they were all following Waze.
Exactly. No, I think Uncle Glenn was following Waze. That's what Waze would take me.
That's
it's
right,
like, hey, take this road.
Drive through Griffith Park. Okay.
So you're like, in one scene, a seatbelt click could alert these giant bats, which are the monster in The Silence. And yet the dog is barking nonstop and they're not triggered.
You gotta kill the dog. Sorry.
They're not triggered, but nobody kills the dog. Just spoilers.
It looks like
let the dog go, but he most likely dies because they let him go. But nobody, like, none of the bats came after the dog.
Yeah.
And nobody really in both movies ever thinks to like go get, I don't know, a dog whistle, a megaphone, like some kind, until the very end of one of them. But like that was my biggest thing with A Quiet Place, is that like my first thought, knowing that they're ultra sensitive, is some sort of high pitched noise, and it seemed like they didn't think about that until the script wanted them to.
Right.
And that was how many days? The Quiet Place starts way like 400 and something days in.
Exactly, like a year or two or something into it.
So that starts way in, and then this movie starts from day one. So
exactly.
I kind of like the fact that the other one started 460 something days, because at least it gives you some like, okay, they've been living like this. This makes sense. Because what you said, it makes no sense for this to happen in one day and everyone just pack up and just go. Where are they going? It's like if we knew, hey, this is a safe place that you can go. No, these bats are flying around. And how many bats are there in that thing?
So many.
I mean, at least aliens coming down, you're like, okay, there could be a whole
there could be an
aliens.
Entire spaceship.
There's a whole world full of bats that are going to kill like 10 trillion people. I mean, come on.
Didn't they come out of a cave?
They did. Like a manhole.
That's right.
Yeah, it came out of a cave. But I mean, it's like there was a billion of them in there.